Next up, our reporter Julie Buin visits Intega IT. She speaks to the founder and talks about, among other things, ransomware attacks. There's been a huge uptick of this, and of course, it's because many of us have been working from home.
Where traditionally pre-COVID everyone's in one spot to manage, now everybody's in different spots. So we take care of one office, and now we're taking care of maybe 50 offices of the same company because everyone's working from home. So their offices have extended out. It happened very quickly. Companies were not ready to react. I mean, there are companies that followed a work from home model pre-COVID. It's the ones that didn't, and it's the smaller businesses that weren't ready. So some examples of the chaos that happened is, people were literally taking their entire desk home with them, their computer, their monitor, their phone, which is okay. There's a little bit of a learning curve because it's culturally different on how you work on your computer. But then there's the others that weren't ready and they ended up using their home computers, which opens up a whole other can of worms if it's not up to date, if it's not secured. If you're not connecting to the company in a secure manner, it becomes a problem. There's a vulnerability there.
One of the big news stories is the uptick in ransomware attacks by cyber criminals. We're seeing an increase right across the country. Why is remote working so vulnerable to ransomware?
Statistically speaking, 1/3 of organizations have been targeted by cyber attacks. There is an uptick, I think, with people working from home. You're out of that office culture, so you're more susceptible to maybe click on phishing emails or emails that you wouldn't normally click on, being in the office, being informed by your IT. And I think there's a major uptick because if people weren't ready, which they weren't, there is weakness within the organization. So there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, and at the end of the day, the weakest link with today's world is the users. The attacks are coming from the inside out versus pre-COVID or pre-2000s, where your office was secure by the perimeter and you could basically block hacking that way. Now that the attacks coming from the inside because they are using emails and phishing scams and preying on people's fast-paced days to just click things and not really read them properly.
What is the usual path that a ransomware attack takes?
Well, the ransomware is the big one. It's the easiest money for these people who are attacking. A lot of the attacks are fully automated. The ransomware will lock all your files. You'll get an email with instructions on where to send money. And then you can either send the money or you can start from scratch. If you have good backups, that's something you can rely on, and that's something obviously we want people to have. So it's a very, very complicated system, but it's very lucrative for the attackers.
What can companies do to protect themselves when they have such a large remote office community?
Companies can engage with an IT provider who would offer the services that would basically protect your computers and also educate your staff on what to do and what not to do in these situations. A lot of the companies work proactively, so they'll do all the patching, they'll make sure your antivirus is up to date, and they'll also educate your users on how to look for these sort of attacks. And one of the main ways that's happening today is they're doing ransomware and phishing campaigns with the company. The IT provider is sending out fake emails to gauge the user's knowledge and experience. And it's done in a very interactive way where you can actually have scores within the office, so you can see who's basically fallen prey and who hasn't. And so it becomes entertaining as well as educational.
Finally, John, are you hopeful for the future?
I think that the work from home model is great now. Sustainability of it is questionable. I think there are other factors in working from home that sometimes can get forgotten, like your mental health state and your routine, your daily routine. So coming into the office is not necessarily a bad thing; it's a good thing. And I think that 2021 is going to be a better year.